Welcome to Wednesday Waffle. It's not going to be a very long one this time because we're on a Donder. So I'm going to talk to you about next week's videos, the videos and the Donders, and I'm going to tell you a tale about the Lake District and yes, a doggy tale from the Lake District. Happened many years ago, but I'm going to share it. So we're on a Donder, we're up north from home, and I hope that the weather is being nice to us. Hopefully by now we've seen the Northern Lights and visited some lovely places. I'm hoping it's going to be warm, bright and sunny. Beautiful breezes, etc. We're going to Caithness. There aren't any trees. They build the fences out of slates to keep the wind off, etc, etc. So no chance. We've been up there before at this time of year, of course. You may remember the video of us taking shelter at Castletown Harbour. Hopefully we don't get to do that this time, and we've seen some lovely sights. Monday saw our first video from our 2020 weekend trips with a surprise meet up with Campervan Capers. We finished that on Friday and explain how I disappointed some few people who thought they could time travel back to see the Jacobite Rebellion. I wonder where that came from. Bit outlandish if you ask me. Next week we're back from our Donder, so I'll have hopefully a nice Wednesday waffle for you, and the videos are from New Aberdour and the beach there, where we were meeting up with Colin to say goodbye before he headed back south to take up residence back in England after a few years living up north of the border. We have heard from Colin since the floods, and he's managed to keep dry. He's working on the Betty B and working on the house that he now occupies. So let's take us back to the Lake District. We were near Lowther Park, staying on the site where my mother and father had a static caravan. In fact, I think it was Lowther Park caravan site that it was on. It's a long time ago. Come on. Anyway, we'd been for a walk. There's a ruined castle nearby. We'd walked there, and we'd walked a good fair distance from the site, round the castle, round the ruins, and we were turning back to the van, and we were quite strung out. There was Eddie, my father, my mother, a couple of Eddie's daughters, Lindsay, Craig and myself. All different abilities walking, and I was young, in the Air Force and reasonably fit, so I was bringing up the rear and chasing up stragglers, keeping everybody moving along. And we're not far from the camp, but we pass this gate, and I can see up ahead everybody else. There's a large dog hanging at the gate, and it's slobbering away and saying hello to everybody and just, you know, being quite friendly. So Eddie's gone past, my father, my mother, the two girls, Lindsay and Craig, and I'm probably about 50 yards behind now. I've been taking pictures and watching the birds and what have you. And I approached the dog and said hello. Well, the next thing you know, all hell let loose. It was barking and shouting and yelping, and I hadn't touched it. It just was trying to get at me and couldn't. For whatever reason, it didn't like me. For whatever reason, it decided it was going to have a piece of me for its tea. Thankfully, the rope that it was attached to and the gate kept it away from me. But this isn't the only fun incident I've had with dogs. Even further back, I was in Italy, in Sicily to be precise, in Catania, with the the Air Force with a Nimrod, working with the Americans. It was one of the times we stayed off base in a hotel in Sicily. We'd been out for the night, and it ended up with a crowd of us. The complete ground crew were there for a while, so it was. They said the normal half dozen or so. There was about a dozen people on the trip, ground crew, and we'd been out. We'd had a good night, nice meal, and we were walking back to the hotel down past the harbour. No problem at all. I was dressed for detachment, jeans, t-shirt, but I had a new jacket, new leather jacket. And off we went, walking back from our nice meal. A dog suddenly approached the mob. Well, there was 12 of us, so I suppose we were a mob. Suddenly approached us, barking away. It ran around everybody, yes, I mean everybody, made a beeline for me and jumped to bite. And it took a bite out of the back of my jacket, and I got a scratch fending it off. It was caught and shooed away. Because of the nature of the beast, etc., it was decided that I best go to the hospital, because the continent, Italy, Sicily in particular, had a rabies scare on. They were loath to give a jab, but they did the thing, and I was loath to have the jab, to be honest. I'd heard horror stories about it, but they wanted to catch the dog first and do some tests. And of course, most had gone back to the hotel by then, and there was just me and one other who stayed with me. Thank you. But the doc and the nurses via him, neither of us could speak English. Neither of us could speak Italian, but they had one English speaker who spoke through my friend outside, and they communicated about the size of the needle and this, that, and the other, and the bore of the needle, and how they'd have to be sure before they were laying it on. However, I spent 4 or 5 hours in this hospital waiting to be jabbed, because this dog had run all the way around a crowd of people to bite me. As it turns out, they caught the dog, it tested clear, so all I had to have was an anti-tetanus shot. But believe me, that was sore. And back then, apparently, just for your pleasure, the rabies jab was bigger, shot into the stomach area, I believe, and hurt more than the tetanus jab. And if you've ever had one of those in your backside, you'll know how sore it is down your leg. So, a couple of not so nice doggy tales, and we'll see you next week for more Wednesday Waffle. And please join us for our videos on Monday and Friday. Friday, as I say, is more from Campervan Capers. Bye for now. Thank you for watching Desmond's Donders. We'll hope you'll join us again for more photos, waffle and me as we travel around Scotland. Bye for now.